Hi there, my name is Andrew, and today I'm going to be taking a look at the Oculus Quest 2 by Facebook. So don't let the gray beard and balding head fool you. I still do like to play video games, and I've been playing them since I was a kid, like most of you. If you've watched other reviews, you know that everybody is kind of concerned that Facebook is involved, and it does require a Facebook account. So I was aware of that when I bought the device. I do have a Facebook account. I'm not a big, heavy user of that. But that really didn't concern me. I know that there's a lot of discussion to be had on that subject. If you've decided that that's something you're okay with and you're going to continue on, then keep watching, and because that's what I did, and I'll tell you about my experiences with it. So just a couple of quick things about the device itself. Like I said, it does have its own processing unit built into it. For those that care about the specifications, I'll put those in the description below. I wasn't overly concerned with the exact specs of this. I'm really just in it more for the experience, so as long as it can deliver that, I'll be okay with it. It does have a higher resolution than the PlayStation VR, so I thought that'll be, one good thing. I did really like the fact that because it's its own processor built in, you get freedom from cables. Of course, with Half Life Alyx, you're not going to get that because you will have to tether it to play that. And we'll get into that in just a minute. So I really did enjoy that about this, having no cable. That was pretty nice for some of the games in here. So again, it's got a processing unit built in. Everything's self-contained in here. It's got 4 cameras on the front. It's those cameras that do all the tracking for you. They track the controllers. They track your physical space and your physical environment. The lenses in here, there's just only 3 positions for these, so you don't get really any software adjustment. I've seen a couple of reviews where they didn't really like that, and it maybe didn't necessarily fit. They came on the middle setting for me, and I've played with all 3 settings and even tried to adjust it a little bit. The middle setting is perfect for me. It's didn't give me any issues. I would imagine for the majority of people this is going to be an adequate solution. I didn't have any concerns with it, and it looks great. So this is not the headset or the head strap that it comes with. It actually comes with this particular strap, the fabric strap with some adjustments on it. I did play with this knowing that I was going to make a video of it just to kind of give you my opinion of it. As probably everybody else, it's not great. It works though. If that's all you got, you'll be able to have a good experience and play some games with it. But definitely, probably like everybody else, I would just recommend just get the Elite strap. They do make another strap that has a battery pack on it to extend your battery life. Now the battery life of this, they say, is 2 to 3 hours. For the level that I play, which is probably light to moderate on any given session, I won't sit there for hours and play it, but I've not once had the battery die on me, and I've probably not played it for more than 2 hours, but that's not been an issue for me. If you're a heavy player playing all day, that might be a limitation, and maybe the headset with the battery pack might be something you would consider. And so this is just the Elite strap. It's another $50 for it, but it's way better. It feels really good. I kind of wish they would have just included that, but it is what it is, cost-wise. So there's 2 different models of this. Well, I guess it's the same model. One of them has 64 gigs of RAM. The other has 256. Again, I'm kind of probably more on the light to moderate play style or play level. So I decided I'd just go with the 64 gig model and use that money to get the strap and the cable and things like that. And thus far, I've installed quite a bit of content, quite a few games on there. Of course, the PC games you don't have to install on here, so. And 64 gigs has been more than adequate for what I'm doing with it. And the Wi-Fi here in the house is pretty good. So when I've been downloading games and stuff for it, it's pretty quick. So if you've got some good Wi-Fi, even if you went to 64 gig and you had to shuffle it around, not a big deal, I think, for most people. It does have a couple of pieces that come with it. So this inner piece comes out. This is kind of what the fit mask. This is the one that comes with it. It's got a foam insert here and then just kind of clips in. I know that they do make an additional pack that has some different ones of these, but again, for me, the one that comes with it was more than adequate. But just know there are a couple of different ones you can get. It also comes with this spacer which just simply clicks into here, and this is for if you wear glasses. It just simply gives the mask, or this fitment piece, just a little bit more clearance. And so I even played it with this on here, and it didn't really affect my gameplay at all, but that is included. And they just snap in, snap out. It's relatively easy. You could probably buy replacements of these if you had multiple people playing. Alright, so a couple of the controls on here. You get a USB-C connector, headphone connector. The sound, the speakers are built into the headset. Just kind of these directional little speakers here. Not once have I ever felt like I needed to plug in a set of headphones. So the speakers that are in the headset itself were perfect for me. I usually forgot that they were even there. It sounds really good to me. I mean, it's not full bassy surround sound, but for the games I'm playing, it sounded really good. It was a good experience, which is what I was after. So that's on that side. Again, you've got the 4 cameras, top and bottom. You've got a volume rocker switch there, up and down. Again, the volume was not, it didn't get super loud, but it's adequate. But again, if that's going to be a problem, you can hook in a set of earbuds on that and you'll be good to go. It's got some microphones on it. It does support voice commands. I did not play with those a tremendous amount, just enough to try it. An on-off switch, and then an LED to indicate your charge status. And so that's basically the headset itself. The controllers here, I think, are kind of typical of what Oculus has been releasing. They're fairly intuitive. There's really not too much to them. It's got a joystick in the middle, a couple buttons, and then a menu button on there as well. And the halo here has the tracking lights built in so the cameras can pick that up. Yeah, so the battery in there is just a single AA. They come pre-installed. Just a little thing you remove on there. After a couple of weeks, I don't know how many hours that translates into, the batteries on this are still at 90%. So they're going to last quite a long time. So that is what comes with the system. Of course, you get a wall brick and a USB-C charger cable. Again, as I mentioned, this is the head strap that comes with it. You will need to purchase this separately. It's fairly easy to replace. You just need to be a little, just careful with it. It's these pieces right here. They just kind of click off and click on. The other thing, if you want to play PC games, you will need to buy a USB cable. It's a USB-C cable. I bought the one from Oculus, which is kind of an expensive cable. It's $80, $79.95, I think it was what it was. It is a 16-foot cable. It calls it a fiber optic. It is a fiber optic cable, but it is USB-C. That you will need. A couple of the reviews I saw were using aftermarket cables and some other third-party stuff with, I think, varying degrees of success. And so you would just have to try it and see if it'll work. I'm not. Wouldn't be able to tell you what all of your results were going to be. So one of the problems I have had with the Quest 2 is the PC link connection. It continues to drop out on me, and I'm not sure exactly why. My PC is a few years old, so the PC itself does not have a USB-C port. So I'm using the USB-C port on my GTX 2070 Super. And so occasionally, just at random, it will just disconnect and drop me back into the Facebook front end. And so I'm looking online, doing a little bit of research, because I'm not sure if it's the cable, the headset, the PC, the video card, some other buggy issue. There are some, I've seen other reports of this same problem going on, and people have replaced the cable, the headset, and everything with no luck. So I suspect it's something, software related. But as I'm filming this, I have not sorted that out. There have been a couple times where that's been an aggravation to me. And, playing a really cool game, good sequence, and, boom, just disconnects for no good reason. Playing the standalone games on the Quest 2 itself without the PC tethered, I've had no issues at all hardware-wise like that. So anyways, that's kind of just a basic overview of the device and some of the accessories. Again, the accessories I don't have. They make a carrying case for it, which I didn't purchase. They also do make the fitment pack, which includes a couple of different shaped pieces. I honestly don't know much about that, but I know that they do make it. They also make another headset or a head strap that has the battery that gives you another couple of hours on there. Again, after playing with this, I certainly don't need it. This is sufficient. And if you're playing PC games, you know, Half Life Alyx, things like that, it's charging it as you're running on the USB cable, so it's not even an issue. And not once has it ever died on me to where I had to stop playing. So initial setup, when I got it out of the box, my experience with it was, you know, the unboxing process is nice. It feels like a premium product. It's well packed. It's, you know, it's a good experience if you're into that kind of thing. You know, it's, at least to me, it feels like a good quality product. I don't have any complaints about it. The initial setup, it's pretty typical of any device. You know, you're going to charge it up, boot it up, you're going to put in your Wi-Fi network information, your password, you're going to tie it to a Facebook account, and, you know, do some initial updates and things of that nature, and then it will dump you into the initial front end, which is the front end that's built into the device. There's lots of things you can do there. There's lots of content. Now, to me, lots of content. There's more content there than I'm ever going to use. There's more games than I'm ever going to play. There's a lot of games there I don't have any desire to play, but for me, there's plenty of content there to keep me busy, and I imagine more is coming. So yeah, the couple of games that I did play with it, I've played Climb, I think, which is an Oculus Quest 2 exclusive. Climb was really fun. I enjoyed that. I've played Ritchies Plank Experience. I don't think that's an exclusive, but that's one that's built in here. There were a handful of demos. I played Beat Saber, the demo. I've played tons of Beat Saber on the PlayStation VR. The demo here, it was kind of the same experience. Everything looks a little better because it is a higher resolution display on there, so it's really quite nice. And then there's tons of video content, story content. There's one on there called Quill Theater that kind of has some artistic and storyboard type stuff. It's kind of really interesting to see what people have done with that. You get some really cool effects. I actually found that I spent a lot of time in the Quill Theater just looking at artistic things people had done. It's quite amazing. So on the PC side, once you plug it into the PC, it launches the Oculus Quest Link. There's a piece of software you need to download, and it launches you into the front end for that, which you can then purchase additional software through there, and you get things like a virtual desktop where you can then control your desktop for your PC right through the VR. It's fun, it's cool, it's interesting to check out. It's kind of like, you know, a lot of the tech demos that are out there. It's not something that, you know, you're necessarily going to control your machine through. It was kind of fun to mess about with it. You know, I was playing with, you know, Corsair IQ, since most of the videos I do are kind of, you know, RGB related. But anyways, it was fun, but it was kind of, it's not something I would spend a lot of time messing about with. But anyways, the PC front end that it puts you into, you know, there's a lot of different environments you can select, like different rooms and locations, and, you know, in the PC front end, you can kind of move around the environment and do, you know, different things. A couple of cool things that you can do that I thought were kind of interesting was you can put the controllers down and you can enable your hands, and it will actually see your hands, and you can kind of manipulate things. That falls under the same thing as the virtual desktop to me. It's cool, you know, when you're moving your hands about, things like that, but it's just kind of tech demo-y. It's a little more clunky to control anything doing that, so I found I was just going for the controllers. The controllers are more precise. It's a better experience, but it's kind of cool that they included that. There's some advanced features, you know, test things like you can double tap here and see what's in the cameras. We'll talk about the Guardian in just a second, but you know, there's some additional things you can do there. And then from there you can launch the PC games, and you can launch Steam VR games, which is from there you would launch you know, Half Life Alyx, and then it will launch you into the Steam VR front end. And of course you can, you know, do that through Steam as well. You can just launch the game from there, and it will show up on here. Again, it was in those worlds that I had some occasional problems with it. It would just disconnect. I'll put an example up on the screen of what it would do. So kind of disappointing there. I don't know if it could be something with my hardware setup. It could be something, you know, software related. Hopefully that'll be something that gets resolved over time. And so One of the really cool features of this that I thought, which PlayStation VR does not have, is the Guardian system. And what that is it's a way for you to define your physical space. So basically there's two types of boundaries. There's a stationary boundary and there's a room scale boundary. And the first thing you're going to do is adjust your floor level. It was like perfect every time. You just put the controller down to the floor, it adjusts the floor level. If you're doing a stationary boundary, it just draws a little circle around you, and that's the play area that you get. That's meant for just standing or sitting. I use that for sitting quite a bit. The room scale was, you then took the controller, and because it's projecting an image of your room into your VR mask, you can just draw a line around the floor wherever it is you want your play area to be, so you can work around obstacles, things like that. The cool thing about that is if you near that boundary, if you put your hands out into it, put your face mask, it draws an imaginary wall, even in the game, so that you're getting close to that. If you continue beyond it, and you haven't drawn it right on the wall, it would then start projecting the physical world into your gameplay. So you can see that, hey, you're approaching a physical object. There doesn't seem to be any alerting going on if you suddenly almost come in contact with a physical object. So you do need to make sure that play space is clear. And so anyways, overall, I've had a ton of fun with this. I've put a lot of hours into this. The PC games that I've played a lot of Rush. I think that's a game that's a little bit older. It's a couple years old. And anyways, I've had a lot of fun with that, the wingsuit game. Half Life Alyx, I have not completed it yet, but I'm working through that with the occasional aggravation of it dropping out on me. But that game is really cool. I've had no issues playing it on here. I haven't messed with graphics settings a tremendous amount. In Rush, I did try to turn it all the way up because you get that ability in some of the Steam games. And I did cause it some frame rate issues. In fact, it was chugging pretty bad. I think I had to exit, come back in, and adjust it back down. That's really the only time I had really a performance problem. The PC I have, you'll want to double check the specifications. I'll put those links and some of that information below in the description. You will need to make sure your PC meets those minimum requirements. I'm playing on a GTX 2070 Super with an AMD Ryzen 7 3800, if I recall correctly. And it handled everything I threw at it. Half Life Alyx plays just fine, and it's very smooth and looks fantastic. Will it look better maybe like on a Valve Index or something like that? Perhaps. I don't have one to compare it to. I don't have any experience there, and the PlayStation VR won't play that kind of stuff. So just in summary, overall my experience with the Quest 2 has been really, really good. It has not been perfect. It is a VR mask. There are some imperfections in it, in having to reset your views and occasionally a tracking issue or something like that. But overall, it met the goal of what I wanted. I wanted just a basic device to play Half Life Alyx. It does that well enough, other than the occasional PC dropout, which is annoying. And again, I'm not sure what the issue is there. But when it does play, it plays excellent. There's lots of other content, probably more than I'll ever get through, because there's probably more coming all the time. I don't have time to get through all the stuff that's on here. And so if you can get beyond the issue with Facebook, again, there's lots to be said on that. Everybody's going to have their own opinion there. It's just really beyond the scope of what I wanted to do with that. So do your own research with that. But if you can get beyond that part of it, and you don't want to spend the $1,000 for the Valve Index or some of the more expensive devices, and and you want to play PC games, go for it. I've had a lot of fun with it. I'm going to continue to have a lot of fun with it. Anyways, I hope that helps you out. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and have a great day. Thanks.